Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I want to share my interview experience at Multan Center that was held on 25th of October 2022. First of all, I sought permission and entered the room. The chairman asked me to introduce myself. I gave introduction. Then he asked me about locality division. I said my division is Bahawalpur. Then he asked me about how many districts are in your division. I told him that there are three districts which are Bahawalpur, Bahawalnagar, and Rahim Yar Khan. Then one question of general knowledge which I uh, say sorry about it. Then I was referred to SS1. SS1 asked me the type of sentences according to meaning. So I told him that there are different types of sentences according to meaning, just like declarative sentences and negative sentences, interrogative sentences, optative sentences. And then I gave a little bit elaboration of these, and I skipped imperative sentences. Then he once again asked me, tell me about imperative sentences. I told him that imperative sentences are those where requests and orders, when requests are made and orders are given, it starts with the first form. It usually starts with the first form of the verb. Then he asked me to tell the difference between regular and irregular verbs. I told him that regular verbs are those verbs where a specific pattern is repeated. Just like asked, and just like worked. So ed which comes regularly, these kind of verbs are regular verbs, and irregular verbs are those where spelling and form changes. And just like awake, awoke, awoken, drink, drank, drunk, dig, dug, dug. Then he asked me about what is consonant cluster. Then I elaborated that all those consonants which have the tendency to occur together, especially in the start of the words, just like str in strength and strong. So that is a consonant cluster. Then he asked me to recommend two grammar books. I recommended High School English Grammar of Wren and Martin. The second one I recommended Bright English Grammar by Professor Rashid Ahmed Masood of Chishtia. Then he asked me, please tell me about the foreign authors dictionary. Then I could not recall it, and I said, it's tip of tongue phenomena. Right now, I am unable to recall it. Then I was referred to SS2. So first question he puts forward is what is literary theory? So he says literary theory is just like a specific lens which we can use to interpret text. We can use a lens of Marxism. We can use a lens of feminism. We can also use a lens of psychosexual analysis. So, what kind of theory we can adopt to observe a piece of literature, what kind of idea, what kind of tools we adopt to interpret a single piece of literature with different perspectives. Those are called different literary theories. Then I was asked, what is feminism? I told them that feminism is a literary theory that uh, that focuses upon equal female rights in the society, and it celebrates the equality between men and women. Then a chairman interrupted and he asked me, "Can a male writer be a feminist?" Then I said, "Sir, it's a particular way of thinking and a specific literary lens. So a male author can also be a feminist." Then I was asked about its waves. I elaborated its four waves by indicating different writers in those waves. Then I was asked the question, tell me about the writer of Vindications for the Rights of Women. I told that it is Mary Wollstonecraft. Then I was asked about who wrote Education for Daughters. I said it is also written by Mary Wollstonecraft in the first wave. Then I was asked to summarize the ideas of education for daughters. I told them that education for daughters speaks about educating the women and daughters so that they can become equal companion to men in their practical life. So it tells about it. Then uh, I was asked about law at Medusa. So I said that it was written by Helen Sixhouse in the second wave of feminism, and then I told them that it tells about the it tells about the kind of suppression female uh, faces. It tells about that. Then I was asked to tell the summary of sexual politics. I elaborated that its summary is that a female is suppressed uh, uh, from the initial stage when she is in her childhood and she is not given inheritance by her father. Then she is suppressed and she feels depressed from the initial stage and she is not given the proper rights. Then I was asked who wrote Sexual Politics. I said that it is written by Kate Millett in third wave. So then I was asked about what is sublimity. I told that it's loftiness or greatness of any writing. Longinus wrote on the sublime. He told that any work which is sublime, any work is a sublime which has loftiness. He also told us about the five sources of sublime, which are grandeur of thought, inspired passions, noble diction, proper use of arts of speech, and dignified composition. Then I started to elaborate these points. And then they asked to which era Longinus belong. I said he belongs to first century AD. Then I was asked about Suggestropedia. uh, I told them that it's a teaching method that started from 1960s and 1970s, and it talks about a comfortable environment which is provided in this method. There are specific seating arrangements, and there are different pauses and entertainments in the form of songs, and it tells about the comfortable environment, learning in comfortable environment. Then I was asked about why it is called it is called Suggestopedia. So I told them that it is called Suggestopedia because it gives suggestions about learning in a comfortable and feasible environment. Then chairman smiled and he said, "Gentlemen, good luck. You may leave now." So that was my experience of interview. So it was shocking. It was deviated, and I was not asked about any favorite writer. Random questioning was there, and it was also feminism dominated. So whatever I performed there, I elaborated in this message. So I hope for the best. What the result? So I said sorry about one general knowledge question, and the question about recommendation of two names of the writers of English grammar books. One I elaborated, Wren and Martin, and second one I could not recall at the spur of moment. And the third one, Suggestropedia elaboration was uh, a little bit close but not up to mark. So these are some lackings in my that specific interview. Otherwise, a rest of questions I answered according to my knowledge and according to my